Hello and welcome to episode number 335 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Raw for week 2 of February 2023, and we are very much on the road to WrestleMania. No pay-per-view build up for Raw until then. We do have a special episode of Raw coming up soon, which, actually, stay tuned for Heat tonight. There's going to be a big announcement about that on Heat this week, of all shows. It will make sense, trust me. But yes. And also tonight we will hear, for the first time on Raw, from the Royal Rumble winner, the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. And we have all the matches you see on your screen, I think. If I remember to actually put the match graphics on this week. I know Rey Mysterio and Tyler Breeze, Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable, Randy Orton and Ludwig Kaiser, and another match that I've forgotten. Oh, Ivy Nile in action, yeah. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Kicks off the show, out comes Cody, with his brother Dustin. Dustin, in case you missed, you just watched Raw for some reason. Climax of SmackDown was Cody came out. He challenged Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And then Dustin Rhodes came to the aid of his baby brother to help fight off Solo Sikoa. And Cody goes, "So, on Friday night, I made a bit of a statement. I stormed down to the ring for the first time since winning the 2023 Royal Rumble match, and I made my declaration clear. And that declaration was that I, the American Nightmare himself, was going to go to WrestleMania. He was going to take the WWE Championship from that scumbag Seth Rollins, and he was going to finally fulfill my prophecy, my destiny." Now, I'm not an idiot. I know that Seth Rollins is not easy. Beating Seth Rollins, despite the fact that I've done it once before, is not easy. Not everybody can beat a guy like that, especially when he's got that Solo Sikoa by his side. And I saw how Seth Rollins internally dismantled Roman Reigns and his bloodline. But I'm not going to let that happen to mine. My big brother, Dustin, is here to even the score in case that big Samoan second-hand man, right-hand man, whatever you want to call him, wants to get involved. Now, Seth, I know you're watching. You always are. Here's my challenge. In 13 days' time, SmackDown holds No Way Out. And No Way Out is the final stop on the road to the grandest stage of them all. And what better way to cement my mark to the grandest stage of them all than to challenge you, Seth Rollins, and your little henchman, your little right-hand man, Solo Sikoa, to a tag team match against me and my family, my brotherhood. The Brothers Rhodes, Cody and Dustin. Out comes Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, and he says, "Cody, congratulations and welcome back to Raw." I imagine Gunther's getting booed because of, what happened at the end of last week's show. And he says, "But there's one thing that was very clear that you said on SmackDown that I agree with. The decision for you to fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania should have been easy, because you know better than to step into the ring with the Ring General, because you know, in your heart of hearts, that this dream, this destiny you speak of, would continue to elude you should you have chosen to face me at WrestleMania." And Cody goes, "Well, it's good to see you again, Gunther, After, me and Regal, we've had a bit of stick in the past. We didn't exactly get along too well, but buried amongst that animosity that I had with Regal and his coalition was that I still had that respect for William Regal. And Gunther, after last week, what you did to a man that I respect so much, I don't respect you. Now, don't get me wrong, you're one hell of a competitor. You may be one of the best we have here in WWE today. But the reason why I didn't choose you at WrestleMania is because that right there is a Rhodes over your shoulder. The one that Seth Rollins holds, that's the one I need. Now, you can stand here and you can call yourself the greatest World Heavyweight Champion of all time because you powerbombed your mentor through a table. Or you could stick and fight. Because you may not have realized this, Gunther. Last week, you made a lot of new enemies. Some of them even used to call themselves your friends. Out comes Ridge Holland. And he gets in the face of Gunther. Like, I imagine Cody and Dustin sort of like depart at this point, so then the focus just switches to Ridge and Gunther. And Ridge takes the mic and he goes, "You know what, mate? You may be the top dog in this coalition, this group. But Regal, he was the glue that held it all together. And for you to do what you did last week, take him out, you know, Dudley and Pete, been by his side this whole week, still there tonight. And I'd love to be by their side, but I can't be. Because I've got a big Austrian ass I need to kick." And then Regal and Ridge get into a fight, and then it spills out, and then it gets made. The main event tonight will be Gunther taking on Ridge Holland. Non-title, just, yeah. So, just had to accomplish a lot of things in that segment, you know. Get Cody and Gunther interacting, because, you know, you'd have to address it, because he's a Raw guy and he picked a SmackDown belt. So, and then that also sets up the main event, which is Ridge looking to avenge his mentor, William Regal, and taking down the World Heavyweight Champion. Speaking of championships, we then cut to Alexa. She's walking through the hallway, she's got her coffee and all sorts. And she stops at her, like, she turns the corner of her office, she's like, "What is all the commotion?" And then outside her office, you've got Bianca, you've got Rhea, you've got Nova, all just arguing. And she goes, "Well, wait, what's going on here?" She goes, "Girl, you better hurry your ass back in there, okay?" And she's like, "Well, first of all, don't speak to your boss like that. Second of all, what is the ruckus?" She goes, "Well, last week, all three of us made a great claim to be the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship. And I want you to let Nova and Bianca here know why it's going to be me." And Nova goes, "Well, she's going to pick you. Okay, did we not establish if anybody deserves a shot at this championship, it's me, okay? I was the one who stopped you winning that Royal Rumble, and it's not my fault you can't seem to let that go." And I said, "Stop! I'm working on it, okay? I've had a bit of a stressful day, you know, WrestleMania season, up to my neck in paperwork at the minute, you know, all this planning and stuff I need to do. Let me just go and take a seat, give me 10 minutes, and I'll come up with something." And she opens the door and Ivy stood in the office. And Alexa goes, "Oh my God, you scared me. What? I thought you were wrestling tonight, Ivy." She goes, "Yeah, I am. I'm just wondering, you know, have you got an opponent picked out for me yet?" Alexa goes, I've just entered the room." And Ivy goes, "Well, I don't know. You've had a week, so maybe it's maybe it's a bit of a struggle for you this time of year. Maybe you could do with, like, I don't know, maybe another assistant like me or something." And she goes, "Excuse me? If you think you're so much better at this job than me, Ivy, why don't you pick your own opponent tonight?" And she's like, "I can live with that. Sure. Thanks, Alexa. That's one more thing off your plate." She goes, "Yeah, knock yourself out, okay." And then Ivy leaves, and we sort of like zooming on Alexa looking stressed at her desk, as we then head to the first match of the evening. It gets an 85. Gable and Mustafa Ali goes 11-12, and it is Gable who picks up the win. He apparently submits Mustafa Ali in an ankle lock after John Morrison, who was at ringside with Ali, accidentally interfered against Mustafa Ali. Imagine accidentally kicking him in the head or something, and Gable pins him off that. And Ali just looks frustrated in the ring, and Morrison's like, oh fuck, I've paused it up for 82 for Gable, 68 for Mustafa Ali. And yeah, that overachieved. I don't know why. Hot crowd, I guess. Sure. We then cut backstage. Boogs, he's shredding. You know? There's something he loves to do more than shred. But Shinsuke's not feeling it. Shinsuke's not vibing. And Boogs stops, he sees that Shinsuke's not vibing. And he's like, Shin, get your head in the game, man. You know? This ain't like you, you're a rock star. Shinsuke sort of turns his head and looks at him, and he goes, really? Is this still about last week? Okay, look, I know things didn't go the way you thought they were going to last week. But listen here. Today's a new day, you know? You can't let one bad week get you down. You gotta dust back off and remind the world why they call you the King of Strong Style. Okay? Shinsuke goes, I'm not the King of Strong Style. I'm a loser. And he walks off. And Pooh just watches him leave, and he's like, what? Shin, come on, man. Don't beat yourself up like that. We then cut backstage. An angry Mustafa Ali storming through the hallway. And Morrison catches out to him and goes, hey, man, dude, look, and Ali's like, save it. Okay, I know what you're going to say. You're going to come up here. You're going to beg for forgiveness. Because you're going to want me to believe that what you did up there was an accident. Okay. Look, me and you, we got a lot of respect, and we go back a couple of months. We've been tight as friends since you beat me for that Intercontinental Championship. But make no bones about it, I want that title back, and you want that title back as well. So this is just how it's been, Jomo. Okay. Me and you, that title, it's brought this friendship apart. And only one of us can be a champion. And it's going to be me. So how about next week? After I get a week's rest, there will be a next time for you to accidentally screw me over at ringside. Because I want to face you in a match, 1-on-1, next week on Raw. And then Ali walks off, and Morrison's like, fine, if you're going to be that way, then I'll see you then. So, a friendship going south over the simple premise of somebody wants to be champion, and they both want to be champion, so that's going to get in the way of their friendship. But yes, it will be Mustafa Ali and John Morrison, 1-on-1 next week. We then head to Gorilla, where Kathy's waiting by with Florence. And she says, ladies and gentlemen, Florence. She says, it's an exciting time for the Raw Women's Division here, you know. Alexa trying to find up something for the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, Florence. She goes, first of all, Regal was the man who brought me to Raw. As part of this coalition, he stuck by me every step of the way these past 8 or so months I've been here. And I do obviously wish my mentor the very best. But tonight's not about him. Tonight's about me. Tonight's not about the Regal coalition. Tonight's not about having friends or allies. It's about Florence going out there and doing what she does best. And you want to talk about Alexa assigning new number one contenders for the Raw Women's Championship? Well, the search ends. Okay. Because you're looking at her. And then she walks out to the ring for her match. And then, when we go to, I imagine we go to ads when she's walking to the ring, and then we cut back and she's just stood in the ring. Her opponent, Raquel Rodriguez. We haven't seen Raquel for a hot minute. Since whenever I broke up Legado, because I just randomly quietly decided to remove Raquel from the group then. And Raquel is a person, if you know me, that is, I find, needs something extra before she can really, tick on. as she is right now, she's kind of just there. So, in the meantime, I'll have Raquel around now. I thought this was a good place to bring her back. While I guess, concoct what I actually think she should be doing, character-wise. Which probably won't be until after WrestleMania at this point. But, yeah. 74 rated match, though, is fine. Florence does pick up the win. You know, after all of that I just spoke about, you obviously guessed who was winning here. It is Florence who wins in 9:29. 73 for Florence, 70 for Raquel. And yeah, I guess... Oh, it says William Regal did good work at ringside. Ignore that, he's not here. I should need to take him off everybody. You know? So, yeah. But Florence, you know, said she was going to make a statement about who could be the next contender for the Raw Women's title. And she's convinced that it could be her. Midcard backstage. Angelo Dawkins is on a phone. He goes, come on, Dawkins, pick up. And then no answer. He goes, come on, man. He goes, Dawkins, hello. He leaves a voicemail. He goes, look, man, I haven't seen you all week, you know. I know last week was a bit of a weird situation, but you got the win in the end, my boy. I'm proud of you. You're doing great so far. I just pick up, man, you know. I didn't mean to resist and hesitate. You know I want you to win. You know I want us both to win. The problems are going to soar. And then we see like a shadow get cast over Montez Ford. And he looks up. He's like, I'm going to have to call you back. And then he hangs up the phone. And then the camera pans and Zerg is stood there. And he goes, listen, big man, look. I know what you're going to say. If you can even speak. I'm sorry. But Dawkins is my brother. I needed to help him keep that title. And then Zerg just grabs his hand around Tez's throat and pins him up against the wall. And he goes, if he is your brother, why don't you trust him to win by himself? Huh? Well, luckily for you, I'm free next week. And if I can't beat one Street Profit, the other will have to do. And then he just walks off. And Tez has got himself in a bit of a pickle here because he's accidentally picked a fight with Zergus. I don't know if he meant to, because he just wanted to help Dawkins retain, but yeah, he's accidentally picked a fight with Zergus. Not ideal. This is like the 6th Xia Li gimmick. This one's great, let's go, finally. We then cut to the anime binge watching room where everybody's there. No Shanky because he's still binging Attack on Titan, we'll call it. But yeah, you know, the usual suspects are there. The Titus World Records and the anime boys. But they're talking to Carland. And this week Carland's a little different. His name is Carland with a C. And Sensei's talking to him. And okay. So, if you really want to become one of us, okay. First of all, I didn't expect it from a guy like you, you know. Guys like you are sort of like normally the guys who would, you know, shove guys like me and Manny into the lockers at high school. In fact, maybe you did. We're kind of the same age. And Manny goes, hey, I didn't get shoved in lockers. And then Dio goes, oh, you could. You should have. And he goes, that's by the by, Dio. Okay, let Sensei finish. And Sensei's like, anyway, as I was saying, look, we all know better than anybody that Karrion Kross He's got some dark energy around him. Perfect villain foil, if I do say so myself. But he is, for all his flaws, a former world champion. So he's not somebody we can't take lightly. Okay. With Carland, with a C on our side. Now, we have extra ammunition. We outnumber the enemies. Okay. Maybe Gacy's got this thing going with, Bivens and those guys, but there's one thing they don't have that we do have. You know what that is? And then R-Truth stands up and he goes, "My baby!" And Sensei's like, well, yes, but also friendship. Okay? They're a bunch of mercenaries in it for themselves. Perfect. Because we are more than just that. We're a brotherhood. A sisterhood. Carland, I appreciate your interest in our culture. But to become one of us, we must put you through. Then everyone sort of just looks at the camera and goes, "The test." And Khan's like, "What's the test?" And Manny goes, "It's easy. You gotta sit here and you gotta watch buckets load of this crap." And then everyone just looks at Manny. And Dio goes, Manny, that's the wrong box." And you can imagine what's in that Manny's secret box that he doesn't want people to share. And he goes, oh, my bad. This! And just a box full of like anime box sets. And Carlin starts flicking through them all one by one. And Sensei goes, "Master this, and you can do anything you want. You have the power of God and anime on your side." And then we can finally get back to what we actually were supposed to be doing here before we got sidetracked. And that's get Saray her pendant back. So, we may have a new ally here in the war. Carland with a C. Sarland, you could call him, but I like still pronouncing it Carland, so it's fine. We then head out to the ring. Jeff Jarrett and Baron Corbin are there. And Double J goes, "Listen up, Slapnuts. It's been about, I don't know, so too long, 23 years since I stood here with a microphone on Monday Night Raw. And a lot of things have changed about then. One is that I'm not alone anymore. But the main thing is I'm a whole lot richer than I was before. I stand here, WWE Hall of Famer. I've been everywhere around the world that you could possibly imagine. Japan, Canada, UK. Hell, I was even doing a promotion over in Finland. But that's the beauty of this business. Wherever you go, you can always secure a bag. Okay, these kids today don't know anything about securing a bag because they're too busy going out to high school gyms, breaking each other's necks, and slamming themselves on the floor for faint applause from 30 people in the crowd. That's called working dumb. That's called being a slap nut. A guy like Baron Corbin, this is the guy that all wrestling fans should aspire to look up to. This is a guy that works smart, a guy that gets shit done, and a guy that gets paid. If there's one person in this entire business who knows a thing or two about getting paid, it's JEFFJARRETT. Now, as for those other two, a good old friend of mine, dare I say, a man who, back in his heyday, got the better of me once or twice. And his gaggle of too sweet friends. You know, AJ, you know all too well what happens when you mess with me. And Finn, I don't know you, but you seem like a good kid. You seem like somebody I could mold to become a good little hand around here. A nice secure job for life. Nobody gets in the way of our check. And Corbin takes the mic and he goes, that's kind of bold of you to say, Jeff. Okay, look, it's true. I'm rich. I'm handsome. We're both those things. But I'm also the best damn wrestler here on planet goddamn Earth. And it's not because I work smart. It's because I can do it effortlessly while these other people are out busting their necks, breaking their necks and their backs for hot dogs and handshakes. Now you're a lot better a man than me, Double J, because you actually had the balls and the gall to acknowledge Finn Balor and AJ Styles. Hell, if it was up to me, we wouldn't even say his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Out comes Joe Hendry. He goes, boys, relax. Has anyone ever told either of you that we just don't care about this? You see, it's true. Corbin works smart, works safe. But answer me this question. Would a world full of Baron Corbins really be a world anybody would want to live in? I don't believe it would be. So now, you have summoned me to the ring, and I'm not leaving without a fight. So Corbin, let's see what you got. We then get Corbin versus Joe Hendry, and the match gets an 80. Wow, okay, I was expecting it to be that good. Hendry's actually doing alright, 58, and a 79 for Corbin, but Corbin does pick up the win in 9:34. I imagine a Jeff Jarrett guitar shot to the back while the referee's not looking into the end of days. Scores the victory for Big Corbs in 9:34. 58 for Joe Hendry and a 79 for Baron Corbin. Yeah, no storyline, so I don't know why it got an 80. But then after the match, Jarrett and Corbin leave. When the Karrion Kross Cult come out of the crowds, they're all in their dark hoodies. They got those, face masks with the skull on them. You know the ones I mean, the ones that every single core have. The old shield masks. They're just looking like a bunch of pretty badass cores, if I do say so myself. And Karrion slides into the ring. And he goes, "Oh, you think you're funny, kid? Huh? Think this is all one big joke?" Starts beating up Joe Hendry. Picks him up, hands him to Carcass, and Carcass just turns him inside out with whatever Moose's finisher is. Probably does a spear. I'm not going to pretend to be a Moose expert. I literally only hired him for a bit, so it's fine. And Karrion goes, You may think this is over and you may have crumbled this cult. That couldn't be further from the truth. You see, your stupidity opened my eyes. There was a worm in our ranks. And now he's taken care of. And now you're taken care of. And the three of us are going to be stronger than ever. Raw is ours. Nothing personal, kid. We then see Sheamus backstage. He's being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. And she says, "No, Sheamus, it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you here on Raw. WrestleMania season's up in the air. What's on the mind of the Celtic Warrior?" He goes, "I'm not going to lie, the same thing that's on the mind every single time WrestleMania season rolls around, Kathy. I don't need to tell you the story anymore. I would just sound like a parrot. The one championship that I still haven't yet to win is that Intercontinental Championship. And whether it's going to be Angelo Dawkins or anyone else, but that is what I want. That is the WrestleMania moment I will chase." And then Gable walks past going, "Shoosh, shoosh, shoosh. Okay, well, let me tell you one thing here, shamey boy. There's no chance that you're ever going to become the Intercontinental Champion because there's only one person who's going to leave with that Intercontinental Championship whenever he gets his opportunity for it, and that's the man you saw earlier on tonight. He put down Mustafa Ali, the man basically begging for a shot, which I believe puts yours truly in the front of the line. But don't worry, when I'm champion, maybe I'll give you a shot. Thank you." And he walks off. And Sheamus just looks at him like, that guy's an asshole. Kathy's like, yeah, he is, yeah. Then see the grand jury backstage. And it starts with sarcastic Dolph Ziggler clapping. And he goes, bravo, bravo, bravo. Look, I'm not sure if you've all heard the big news. And that big news is that Logan Paul is coming to Raw next week. The Maverick himself, Mr. Prime himself, come on a DZ show, taking spots from DZ and the rest of the grand jury. Okay? Sure, Logan, you got that fluky elimination over me in the Royal Rumble match. I'm not going to pretend like I saw that coming. But now, everything that you think you've experienced here in WWE has been a handout. And I can spot a handout when I see one. I've had to sit back for 15 goddamn years and watch them be given to anybody that wasn't me. Okay? I wasn't gonna let WWE superstars, some of the best goddamn professional wrestlers walking planet Earth today, get in my way. So if I'm not gonna let those guys get in my way, what do you think I'll do if some YouTube influencer boy decides he wants to step to old DZ? Or better yet, what if old DZ steps to him first? See you next week, Logan. $78 rated match, I will take that. It's the Tyler Breeze vs. Rey Mysterio match that was set up last week during their segment. And in 1522, using a foreign object, I imagine Rey goes for a 619 on Breeze or something, but like Breeze chop blocks him as he's running towards the ropes, and then Rey lands like on the ropes as he would if he was taking a 619. But then, as he's in that position, Maxine would spray like perfume in his eyes or some shit, which would distract him, and then Breeze would hit the unprettier to score the win. So a big win for Tyler Breeze. Only his second match back here, but he has beaten Rey Mysterio. 72 for Rey, 71 for Breeze. Fairly even as well. Nice. We do like to see that, to be fair. But yeah, Rey Mysterio for a shocking defeat here tonight. After what his son said last week. Who knows what's going on in that head right now. We then cut to Alexa's office. And she just sat in the middle of her head in her hands, like pinching the tip of her nose. She goes, ugh. He goes, all I'm saying is, Mustafa Ali, former Intercontinental champion, him and Morrison have been bickering back and forth about who should be the next champion. I beat him. So, if anybody should be getting that shot at that Intercontinental championship, it should be me. It's like, okay, I already beat this fella before, okay? Well, so, if anybody should be the Intercontinental champion, it should be me. Unlike him, I'm willing to earn it myself. Alexa goes, look. This is the third time tonight that I've had people barging in here demanding Intercontinental Championship matches. So here's what we're going to do. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to have a special episode of Iron Night Raw. And I just got done off the phone with Brandy. If you want to hear more about that, tune into Heat. But how about next week? We do Chad Gable versus Sheamus. We do Zergus the Mighty versus Montez Ford. And we do John Morrison against Mustafa Ali. With the three winners going on to a fatal four-way on the special episode of Raw, which will be March Week 1, to face Enzo Dawkins for the Intercontinental Championship that night. And Sheamus goes, that sounds good to me, fella. Love a chance to kick this fella's head off. And he goes, oh, you love that chance so much, don't you? That's why I was in the Rumble, and you weren't. Thank you. See you next week, fella. I just realised I put Ivy on screen in that last segment. That was out of habit. She wasn't there at all. Because she is in the ring. And Alexis had a very busy night, Couldn't really find time to pick out a worthy challenger for Ivy Nile tonight. Which is fine, because she said she's going to pick out her own opponent, and she has found somebody. Out comes a new luchadora, wearing a bland black and silver mask, called La Paxica. She, I guess, is from Mexico City. Someone like that. And yeah, this luchadora here, I guess making her debut, is going to take on Ivy Nile in singles action tonight. And then gets a 40 in a shocking match. I guess you could say shocking upset. La Paxica, in her debut, the local enhancement gal, picked up the win over Ivy Nile. 3 minutes 41 seconds with a move called the Paxplex. 38 for La Paxica, 47 for Ivy Nile. So, Alexa said last week that Ivy will be in action to return to the ring to try and prove her worth as a wrestler. But she's lost to some luchadora I've never seen before. But I guess maybe she's here on Raw now. Maybe this is a new member of the Raw Women's division. Who knows? Then see Karrion Kross, finally proud of himself. He's like making himself look cool. He's like got his jacket and he's pulling it down and shit like that. And then we hear off camera, we just hear, "Bravo, bravo, bravo, Mr. Karrion Kross. I don't believe we've met." "I don't believe we have, no." "As well, pleasure to meet you, Karrion. My name is Joe Gacy, and as you may or may not be aware, I am on my quest to secure peace here on Raw, and that's why I have this." He pulls out Saray's pendant, and he goes, "What the hell is that? That looks kind of stupid." He goes, "Don't you call the pendant stupid. This is the special artifact that those other people wanted back. And now I hear they've taken a friend of yours. A friend of yours has joined their ranks. I know that fills you with rage, but don't worry. We can suppress that. Because all you have to do is join the ultimate evil, and together, just like Titus World Records and my wrestling academia, we can become a super squad." And Karrion just chuckles. He goes, "Heh, you had me at pure evil, kid. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Colin won't know what's going to hit him. This time, it's going to be a little personal." And then cut to Rey. Rey's going through the hallway. I imagine the shot is like we're behind Rey as he's walking down the hallway. And Kathy Kelly approaches him and she goes, Rey. You know, what went wrong tonight? You know, what's next for the career of Rey Mysterio? And Rey just keeps walking on. Like, I imagine the visual will be Rey just doesn't stop at all. He just keeps walking on. And Kathy has to, like, run and jog to keep up with him. She's like, Rey, please, any words after what happened tonight? And then Rey stops. And without turning back his back to the camera, we see his back the whole time. He grabs his mask. And he pulls it off his face. And then he tosses it behind him into the waiting trash can, garbage bin, and continues to walk off. As Kathy just sort of stays behind this time, just looking at the bin with Rey Mysterio's mask in, like, huh. $81, I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly adequate based on the 2 ratings they got. But the match between Ludwig Kaiser and Randy Orton goes 16 minutes and 5 seconds. And in the end, it looks like Randy's got it won with an RKO. When there, out of the crowd walks a very suave, bald Italian man in a suit. And he just stands there and he watches on. Randy goes, this fucking guy again. But the distraction allows for Ludwig to hit his finish and pin Randy Orton, thanks to an appearance by Giovanni Vinci. 79 for Ludwig, 81 for Randy. And then after the match, they get Randy up for that Imperium bomb, and Gunther and Vinci, Ludwig and Vinci hit that Imperium bomb on Randy Orton. I imagine they then strike the Imperium pose, but the funny visual is that Ludwig's in his gear and Vinci is still in his suit and sunglasses. And then, once the pose is over, Vinci would point to the camera and smile, and again we'd get the photo bomb of Ludwig, like, turning to the camera all confused, looking just confused and stern in the background of the photo, where it says Vinci down the bottom. And then the two of them go to leave together, and out comes Gunther with the World Heavyweight Championship ahead of his main event match with Ridge Holland. And he sort of like stops when he gets to where Vinci and Kaiser are, and all three of them sort of share a weird look at each other before Ludwig and Vinci continue walking to the back as Gunther continues to walk toward the ring. Then out comes Ridge Holland. He's got a big, chip on his shoulder after last week's closing angle. Let's see if he's got what it takes tonight to defeat the Ring General. I will take an 85. I knew this was going to be a test for Ridge, but I consider that a success, sure. But yeah, obviously it's Gunther who wins. He pins Ridge with the Golden Bomb, 12:57. And yeah, Gunther gets an in-ring performance of a 95, and Ridge gets a 70. So yeah, blue rating for Ridge's main event here. I knew this was a test, so I knew I was going to throw him into the deep end, see how he did, but I would say he did alright. He didn't embarrass himself or anything. But then Gunther holds the title up high. He's celebrating when he turns around and bang! He's collided with a Torpedo Moscow. Because do not forget that Ilja Dragunov is here now. He was traded from SmackDown to Raw just so he could beat up Gunther. And he just laid the World Heavyweight Champion out with a Torpedo Moscow. And the crowd is loving it. They're going, holy shit, holy shit. Like, that came out of fucking nowhere. And then Ilja leaves as he celebrates with the crowd, rocking the World Heavyweight Champion off his feet. And I guess looking to avenge his mentor, William Regal. We then see Ivy. She's got like a towel around her, and she's like shaking her head going, man, I can't believe this is my one chance. Alexa gave me this one opportunity and I blew it by losing. Ugh. And she stops at Alexa's office. She goes, I don't even really want to go in. And she opens the door and Alexa is already standing there at the hallway. And she's like, get in. And Ivy goes, what? Alexa just sits on the desk, not behind it. Like, she's pulled the chair up. She's got her feet on there. And she's like sat there like she's a teacher scolding somebody. And she goes, I bet you thought that was funny, didn't you? And Ivy goes, what? And she goes, that little stunt you pulled out there in the ring earlier on tonight. And Ivy goes, what? No, I don't think losing a match is funny. I want to win, obviously. And she goes, don't play stupid with me, Niall. Okay. What's going on here? Okay. I know what you're doing. I know who that was. Okay. And you think it's funny, don't you? You think it's funny to go behind my back, your boss's back, the woman who signed your checks, for a joke? For someone that... Ugh. And if he goes, look, I don't know what you're getting stressed about. Like, it was your job to find me an opponent. You couldn't do it because you were too busy stressing out about other things. I found an opponent. I lost, fair and square. This Lapaxia girl, she's the real deal. We should give her a Raw contract. And Alexa goes, no, I'm not going to give her a Raw contract, Ivy. And she's like, why not? She's like, because I just terminated it. Okay? Now look. I've been lenient with you. But I know what you're doing here. And I don't appreciate the games. So, you need to be upfront right now and tell me how this came about. And Ivy goes, well, I needed an opponent for tonight. I put up a advertisement for a local indie show, and then Alexa just slaps Ivy in the face, and she goes, get out of my office. And she goes, what? She goes, now. And Ivy's like, well, okay, what the fuck? Like, I lost, so I should take it that hard. Next week, though, we have an Intercontinental Riffit episode of Monday Night Raw, starting with a New Year's Revolution rematch between Chad Gable and Sheamus. Of course, we have 3 singles matches all announced tonight, and the winners of those 3 will go on to the special Raw show March Week 1 for the Intercontinental Championship in a Fatal 4-Way match. The second match, following Montez Ford's interference during his title match with Angelo Dawkins last week, Zergus and Montez Ford, one-on-one, with the winner of that match being added to the Fatal 4-Way. And finally, 2 men that have long since bonded over the Intercontinental Championship. That title has now driven them to apart, and Mustafa Ali and John Morrison will go one-on-one next week, with the winner of that match also being added to the Fatal 4-Way. But that, of course, is not all, ladies and gentlemen, because the Maverick himself, Mr. Prime, Logan Paul, returns to Raw next week. And let's see if you've got anything to say about Dolph Ziggler and the way he's been sort of popping off about Logan Paul since the Rumble. Now, before then, this is a new one. Heat gets a graphic. Because, again, I've said it all night, we've got an important segment on Heat. Brandy Rhodes, will address Raw's upcoming television special, featuring a major announcement regarding the number 1 contendership for the Raw Women's Championship for WrestleMania 39. So I imagine this is the first ever entrance of Bray with the Shatter theme and all that, so, take you back to the time in real life when you were still excited about all that stuff. Okay, and then Bray enters the ring, just looking like a dude, and he goes, "It's been too long, man. 6 months ago, I didn't know I'd be standing here today. I thought that seeing my life's work literally go up in flames, it's enough to end any normal man. And that's all I'm trying to be, man. Just a normal man. I've learned not to take anything for granted. Any 2 seconds could be the most important 2 seconds of one's life. And any time to repent for past actions is never a moment too soon. So now, here I stand, ready to repay you for all the faith you had in me. When quite frankly, there was times where I lost it in myself. Drew McIntyre's music hits, and he storms to the ring. He takes his shirt off as he storms down to the ring. He's ready to just whoop Bray Wyatt's ass. Drew slides into the ring and he's like, whoa man, look. Easy, big boy, easy. I understand where you're coming from. Okay? You think that I was the one who sent those people after you at the Royal Rumble. But you gotta believe me, man. You gotta believe me. I'm not that guy anymore, man. I'm just Bray. And Drew, he's not taking this for an answer. He jumps on Bray Wyatt and he continues to beat the fuck out of him, like laying punches into him in the corner. Bray's in the corner, I imagine he's seated in position in the corner, just completely exhausted after Drew's just beating his ass. But Drew's of course got his attention distracted by the Titantron. Looks down at Bray, looks back up at the Tron, what the fuck's going on here? But he's backed into a corner anyway. And he goes 3, 2, 1. He goes for a Claymore, but Bray Wyatt rolls out of the ring. And he goes, enough, man. Enough. I just want to be like you. I don't know what Susie's doing. That ain't me, man. I left that in the past. I just want to be like you. Andrew just looks at him confused, okay. He doesn't believe Bray, but this is still weird. Bray Wyatt trying to just be a normal guy. But Susanna and this weird man seem to have other ideas. 90 rated show. Banger. Yeah. Not really much else to add, to be honest. We saw a big debut of a new luchadora, La Paxica. We saw Ridge Holland and Gunther. We saw Ludwig and Randy. We saw Breeze and Ray. Yeah. And, of course, a lot of Joe Hendry. So you can never have too much Joe Hendry. So, yeah. But that is the end of this episode of Raw. We do have Heat to get to. Coming up now. Heat kicks off with a quick, backstage thing. It's right after Raw's finished. Brandy's getting ready, going over her notes when Cody's with her. He goes, you all set? And he goes, yeah, I know what I'm doing, I've been doing this for a couple of months, nearly a year now, so I know my thing, Dustin, he already left, so, you can either go over him, or Cody's like, no, I'll stay here, I'll wait for you to finish what you're doing, and then we can leave together with Pharaoh in the Nightmare truck. And she goes, fine, well, wish me luck, I guess, ahead of her big announcement later on tonight. The show opens with an actually pretty good match. Sol Ruka against Saray. Saray barely wrestles, so I just thought, yeah, give her a match here and a win. Because people like Sol will be, just benefiting from being in the ring with main roster people, so I don't mind having them lose from most of their matches up on Heat. 61 for Saray, 40 for Sol. And yeah, not too shabby. Hey, I'm so happy with that chemistry note. Mina and Mizuki of J-Flow are in tag team action next against Symphony Fox and Stevie Turner. Symphony Fox, the uwu e-girl, the fan favourite, if I do say so myself, of the Heat tournament, the Next Gen Breakout, whatever it was I called it, the Heat Next Gen tournament, yeah. Teaming with Stevie Turner, who is the streamer girl. Match made in heaven, obviously, and TEW agrees because they've got excellent chemistry. So, there's a duo to look out for in the future. But Mizuki and Mina do win Mina pins Symphony with a 450. 64 for Mina, 63 for Mizuki, 29 for Symphony, 36 for Stevie. And yeah, 57 tag matches all right there, I guess. Are you kidding me? Luckily, I think she can work through a cracked tailbone. But Killer Kelly wrestles her first match that isn't the Royal Rumble since her return, beating Joanna Boone with a super kick. And they had no investment in the match, apparently, and she cracked her tailbone, which, again, I think she can work through, so it's fine. 50 for Kelly, 33 for Joanna. And the main event match of the night gets a 76. This is a, two credible women's wrestlers on Raw. And there's a reason for that, which we'll get to in a minute. But it is Julia picking up the win over Tegan Nox in 13:48. An 84 for Julia and a 76 for Tegan. But then, as Julia's walking up the ramp, out comes Brandy. And she crosses paths with Julia and she goes, well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. All night me and Alexa have been working on this plan. And it's time to announce to the world what exactly we've been thinking of. So, I'm sure as you're all aware, in the Royal Rumble, Candice LeRae punched her ticket to WrestleMania. She won the Royal Rumble that entitles her to a championship match of her choosing. And last week, if you do recall, Candice chose to wrestle the SmackDown Women's Champion. Currently Bayley, could be Thea Hale, could be somebody completely different. But Candice has made her choice. It'll be Candice LeRae versus the SmackDown Women's Champion at WrestleMania. Now, that leaves the question. What happens to Raw? How does Raw determine a challenger for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania? Who's going to wrestle the Queen? So, we will have a big special episode of Raw 3 weeks from tonight. And that special episode of Raw is going to be a Road to WrestleMania tradition. It's going to be the Elimination Chamber. For the first time in the match's existence, an Elimination Chamber match will take place on Monday Night Raw. As for the participants, there have been 3 very, very, very vocal women who want in to that match, and by merit deserve to be in there. Those being Bianca Belair, Nova Nebula, and Rhea Ripley. Also on Raw, earlier on tonight, we saw Florence pick up a very impressive victory over Raquel Rodriguez in her return match, which I believe entitles Florence to the 4th spot in the match. Now, as you just saw, Julia picked up the win here tonight against Tegan Nox in the main event of Heat. I believe that would put Julia in spot number 5. And as for the final entrant in that match, next week, 15 Women Battle Royale. And the winner of that Battle Royale will earn the 6th and final spot into the Elimination Chamber and will have the right to earn a match for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Now, I thank you all for coming here tonight, Hope you enjoyed Raw, hope you enjoyed Heat, hope you're looking forward to the first ever Elimination Chamber match. Elimination Chamber event. Raw presents Elimination Chamber 3 weeks from tonight. I hope to see you all there. Out comes Seth Rollins. And he's... Oh, Brandy Bot, you didn't expect to see me here on this all-women show, that's why I thought I'd wait till the show's over to come out here. Now look, honey, come on. And Brandy goes, what the hell are you doing out here? And he goes, come on, aren't you happy to see me? She's like, why would I be happy to see you here? He goes, well, I'm not sure if you realize, Brandy, your esteemed hero of a husband, decided on SmackDown that he was going to challenge me for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And Brandy goes, yeah, he did, and he's gonna kick your fucking ass. And he goes, funny girl, no. No. You see, I don't think you're getting it. I don't think Cody's getting it. This is not a game. You know everything that I went through to get my hands on this? I drove myself insane to beat Roman Reigns for this championship, and he thinks that because I tore one bloodline apart, I won't be able to do it to another. He thinks that his bloodline is safe. He thinks that he's safe, and that he's going to go to WrestleMania. He's going to dethrone me, and he's going to become the WWE Champion. Well, where's your savior here now, Brandy, huh? Where's your hero? Huh? I don't see him out here. Solo grabs Brandy from behind, and he has her in position, got his hand on the back of her neck, and he's gonna go for the Samoan spike. And that's when Cody Rhodes rushes out onto the ramp. He's like, stop right there, Cody. Don't take another step, or you know what happens. Now you listen to me, and you listen to me good. This didn't have to be this way. But you had the nerve to ruin my story. And now you think, because you've got what it takes, because you want your own story, you think mine's not important. That's not how things work around here. Okay, SummerSlam, I ruined your story. Because you ruined mine back at King of the Ring. War Games, you ruined my story because you couldn't let go. And now, WrestleMania. I guess we're even. That's if you even make it that far, because quite frankly, I don't think you deserve this championship match at WrestleMania. As for your proposal earlier on tonight, me and Solo against you and Dustin at No Way Out, I accept your challenge. And then Cody goes to leave. He goes, on one condition. You win. And you get your win. Your bloodline's all well and good. Bravo, bravo. But if when we beat you two, you and your decrepit ass brother, then you forfeit the right to face me for my WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And then he turns around to Solo, who's still got Brandy in position, he's still got the thumb up ready for the spike. And he goes, do we have a deal? And Cody, he looks like he's about to cry, because of course he does. And he says, I said, do we have a deal? And Cody goes, you think I'm scared of that? Huh? You say this didn't have to be this way, but you've come out here and you've made this extremely more personal than it has to be, Seth Rollins. For your little challenge, I don't back down from anybody. If I can't beat you and your little puppet there, I don't deserve to bestow the name Rose. I don't deserve to finish the story of myself or of the American dream. Me and Dustin will see you at No Way Out. So it's like, ha 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 ha. Well, isn't that cute? Hey, Brandy, your little hero came out here. He came to save the day. Too bad it's too late. And then bang, Solo sticks the Samoan spike in Brandy's throat anyway. And then Cody sprints to the ring. Seth and Solo leave through the crowd. And Cody checks on Brandy in the ring as medics come out to check on her and stretcher her out and shit like that. Yeah. Big angle on heat. I've been saying it all episode, 74 rated show. Yeah. For once, that's actually kind of an important, and for once, heat feels like essential viewing. because, man,